Welcome back to another edition of the rebuild on this MGA 1960. I've been continuing on with the bodywork and going around in a few different places to get things done. I've started to sand down the boot lid or the trunk lid, and as it turned out there was about 30 layers of paint on the surface of that. I started with a paint stripper, but it was taking too long, so I got stuck into it with the 6-inch orbital sander with a 40 grit paper and gradually working my way through it. The area here now is around about down where the original paint would have been, but had quite a lot of paint on it, as you can see there. That's some of the layers, but anyway, we're getting there with that. Looks to be in nice condition, so I don't see that it's going to be a big issue there. The rear fenders are all pretty good. Done a couple of little patches there. This particular area there had a little split along the seam, so I put a piece in there. The door gaps I'm working on. Those that know these cars know that quite often there's quite a big gap there, which this one had. So I've put a little bit of welding along the edge of the mud guard. As through there, I've got to file that off a little bit more yet, but that's all coming together. The front of the lance has been another issue. I actually had a couple of those. This is a steel one that someone has taken I'll just move that, cut a big hole in the front of it. Now I will repair that at some stage, but I'll need to get hold of a English wheel. There's a compound curve in it, and I tried to bend one up and tack it on, but it didn't really work. So I put that aside, and what I actually had, I purchased another Valance, which was a fiberglass, possibly a moss, just not quite sure. And when I went to fit that up, the curve around like that curve was just so far out it wouldn't fit. It was just a horrible fit. So I cut that in 3 places. I'll cut that through there, and partially through there. And when I cut it up, I fitted it up to where it needed to go and glassed it back, so we've got quite a good fit there now with that one. This area here and the front fender or mudguard, that little spot there, that was sitting back about 1/4 of an inch or so from that front face, so I've cut that through there, moved the panelling out and welded that back up. Likewise on the other side, we've got a situation where the bit through there is sitting a little bit high. You can see where I've drawn that texture pen line, so I'm going to run a cut through there and move that back to where it fits a bit better. So I haven't done that little one yet, but that's a bit of an update on what's going on with the body. I've yet to sand down the bonnet lid. I've actually done a few little jobs in here, welding up a few little tiny little holes and what have you. That bracket down there in the bottom I've had to weld up, and put a little bit of seam sealer around the place in those areas. So it's all coming together quite nicely. The door I'll sand off with the orbital sander and some 40 grit. That shouldn't take too long. There's only the one layer of paint on that. I showed you in the previous video where I'd actually repaired the bottom of that, so pretty happy with that. The door gaps aren't too bad. And this one I'll just use a bit of weld and file it down until that comes up to an acceptable standard. The front fender there, the mudguard, I'm getting pretty close to being happy with that. There's still a little bit of a low spot just through there, about a millimetre. So I'm going to try and get that tapped out a little bit to get that a bit closer. I don't want to be putting a great deal of filler and that sort of thing in there. I want to try and get it as close as I can to eliminate that. But all in all, the body work's coming along. So that's a bit of an update for you on what's going on. Well, thanks for watching, and until next time, we'll catch you all later.